Hello. Morning. Um. This one. One of these gotta go. There we go. Morning. Um. There's not much to say really in this morning. We're just gonna hop into the reading and kind of get on with it because we got. I think it's the wrap up of First Samuel today. I'm not really sure if it's 31 chapters to First Samuel or 32. But either way, we're reading from chapters 28 to chapters 31, and then going into Psalms 86. So, Saul just died. Not like murdered. Died. And we don't know if there's another judge from. I mean, I said Samuel. Did I say Saul? I meant Samuel. Samuel just died, and we don't know if there's another prophet like Samuel to take his place because a lot of priests died, in Saul's crusade. So we're gonna see what's going on in those aspects of the story. Is there a priest who replaces Samuel? I think only Samuel's son survived, or was it Eli's son? No, it was Samuel's son that survived. He's hiding out with David. We'll see what becomes of David. And then there is the situation with Saul. We know he's in his downfall. So let's just see how far down he falls. And then, yeah. If David, we know David becomes king, but I wonder who will anoint him again. If someone has to anoint him again. I need to see which players are alive or around. So we're on day 86. Right. Saul consults a medium. About the time that the Philistines mustered their armies for another war with war with Israel, King Achish told David. Now David's hiding out in King Achish's territory, and he's fighting the Philistines while lying to King Achish that he's fighting kingdoms in Israel, or villages in Israel, conquering villages. Anyway, King Achish told David, "You and your men will be expected to join me in battle." "Very well," David agreed. "Now you will see for yourself what we can do." Then Achish told David, "I will make you my personal bodyguard for life." Meanwhile, Samuel had died, and all Israel had mourned for him. He was buried in Ramah, his hometown, and Saul had banned from the land of Israel all mediums and those who consult the spirits of the dead. The Philistines set up their camp at Shunem, and Saul gathered all the army of Israel and camped at Gilboa. When Saul saw the vast Philistine army, he became frantic with fear. He asked the Lord what he should do, but the Lord refused to answer him, either by dreams or by sacred lot or by the prophets. Saul then said to his advisors, "Find a woman who is a medium, so I can go and ask her what to do." His advisors replied, "There is a medium at Endor." So Saul disguised himself by wearing ordinary clothing instead of his royal robes. Then he went to the woman's home at night, accompanied by 2 of his men. I have to talk to a man who has died," he said. "Will you call up his spirit for me?" "Are you trying to get me killed?" the woman demanded. "You know that Saul has outlawed all the mediums and all who consult the spirits of the dead. Why are you setting a trap for me?" But Saul took an oath in the name of the Lord and promised, "As surely as the Lord lives, nothing bad will happen to you for doing this." Finally, the woman said, "Well, whose spirit do you want me to call up?" "Call up Samuel," Saul replied. When the woman saw Samuel, she screamed, "You deceived me! You are Saul!" "Don't be afraid," the king told her. "What do you see?" "I see a god coming up out of the earth," she said. "What does he look like?" Saul asked. "He is an old man wrapped in a robe," she replied. Saul realized it was Samuel, and he fell to the ground before him. "Why have you disturbed me by calling me back?" Samuel asked Saul. Whoa! Okay. Okay. That changes so much. Not changes. That's something. I don't even know what to call that. Where does that go in the spectrum of colors? There are mediums out here in the Bible calling out spirits. Yeah, I'll just go with that. Choose things. Oh, okay. So in 1 Samuel 15, it's disturbing one that he called up Samuel and he's like, "I killed you, but give me my answers." He's like, "Why are you disturbing my peace?" But what is cool there is that cool. It speaks to another realm of spirituality or spirit essence, and where spirits are disturbed and you're able to reach up. You can't reach all the way up to God unless you're sacrificing. I mean, you're with prayer and you're in spirit and all of that. But it speaks to being able to call up to heavenly realms and bring a spirit into communication with this life, with the world of the living. And like, I don't know, it just lends itself to so many questions. Okay, moving on. "Why have you disturbed me by calling me back?" Samuel asked Saul. "Because I am in deep trouble," Saul replied. "The Philistines are at war with me, and God has left me and won't reply by prophets or dreams. So I have called you to tell me what to do." But Samuel replied, "Why ask me, since the Lord has left you since the Lord has left you and has become your enemy? The Lord has done just as he said he would do. He has torn the kingdom from you and given it to your rival, David. The Lord has done this to you today because you refused to carry out his fierce anger against the Amalekites. What's more, the Lord will hand you and the army of Israel over to the Philistines tomorrow, and you and your sons will be here with me. The Lord will bring down the entire army of Israel in defeat." Saul fell full length on the ground, paralyzed with fright because of Samuel's words. He was also faint with hunger, for he had not eaten all day and all night. When the woman saw how distraught he was, she said, "Sir, I obeyed your command at the risk of my life. Now do what I say, and let me give you a little something to eat, so you can regain your strength for the trip back." But Saul refused to eat anything. Then his advisors joined the woman in urging him to eat, so he finally yielded and got up from the ground and sat on the couch. The woman had been fattening a calf so she hurried out and killed it. She took some flour, kneaded it into dough, and baked unleavened bread. She brought the meal to Saul and his advisors, and they ate. Then they went out into the night. Okay. Okay. In 1 Samuel 28:18, the Lord has done this to you today because you refused to carry out your fierce anger against the Amalekites. That's when he refused to burn everything, and he kept some of the stuff that he saw was good for himself when it was dedicated to be burned and destroyed for the Lord's cleansing. But then there is also the moment where he takes when he does he also like does the sacrifice himself, so he again disobeys the Lord's command. They also performs the ritual sacrifices. What? Instead of waiting. Okay, so then, wait, did that not save? Oh my gosh. So I hate this phone. Okay, I'll come back. Let me just highlight it for now. No, not that one. I can't believe he's out here calling on full spirit of Samuel, who he killed, by the way. Like, he kills him. Um, sorry, I'm a little thrown. I'm a little thrown by the whole spirit contact situation, biblical spirit contact situation. Although it's still pagan. I'm just thrown. I'm just thrown by it. just threw me for a loop. Okay, we'll move on to next chapter. We're in 29. The Philistines reject David. The entire Philistine army now mobilized at Aphet, and the Israelites camped at the spring in Jezreel. As the Philistine rulers were leading out their troops in groups of hundreds and thousands, David and his men marched at the rear with King Achish. But the Philistine commanders demanded, "What are these Hebrews doing here?" And Achish told them, "This is David, the servant of King Saul of Israel. He has been with me for years, and I've never found a single fault in him from the day he arrived until today." But the Philistine commanders were angry. "Send him back to the town you've given him," they demanded. "He can't go into the battle with us. What if he turns against us in battle and becomes our adversary? Is there any better way for him to reconcile himself with his master than by handing our heads over to him? Isn't this the same David about whom the women of Israel sing in their dances? Saul has killed his 1,000 and David his 10,000. So Achish finally summoned David and said to him, "I swear by the Lord that you have been I swear by the Lord that you have been a trustworthy ally. I think you should go with me into battle, for I've never found a single flaw in you from the day you have arrived until today. But the other Philistine rulers won't hear of it. Please don't upset them, but go back quietly." "What have I done to deserve this treatment?" David demanded. "What have you ever found in your servant that I can't go and fight the enemies of my lord the king?" But Achish insisted, "As far as I'm concerned, you are as perfect as an angel of God, but the Philistine commanders are afraid to have you with them in battle. Now get up early in the morning and leave with your men as soon as it gets light." So David and his men headed back to the land of the Philistines, while the Philistine army went to Jezreel. I feel like that plays out in his favor, so I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on anymore. But this Achish fellow is out here. Does he believe in God? Like, he's out here swearing to the Lord and saying that David's an angel from God. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. David destroys the Amalekites. 3 days later, when David and his men arrived home at their town of Ziklag, they found that the Amalekites had made a raid into the Negev in Ziklag. They had crushed Ziklag and burned it to the ground. They had carried off the women and children and everyone else, but without killing anyone. When David and his men saw the ruins, he realized what had happened to their families. They wept until they could weep no more. David's two wives, Ahinoam from Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel, were among those captured. David was now in great danger because all his men were very bitter about losing their sons and daughters, and they began to talk of stoning him. But David found strength in the Lord his God. Then he said to Abiathar the priest, "Bring me the ephod." So Abiathar brought it. Then David asked the Lord, "Should I chase after this band of raiders? Will I catch them?" And the Lord told him, "Yes, go after them. You will surely recover everything that was taken from you." Said that with more enthusiasm. "Yes, go after them. You will surely recover everything that was taken from you." So David and his 600 men set out, and they came to the brook of Besor. But 200 of the men were too exhausted to cross the brook, so David continued the pursuit with 400 men. Along the way, they found an Egyptian man in a field and brought him to David. They gave him some bread to eat and water to drink. They also gave him a part of a fig cake and 2 clusters of raisins, for he hadn't had anything to eat or drink for 3 days and nights. Before long, his strength returned. To whom do you belong, and where do you come from? David asked. I am an Egyptian, the slave of an Amalekite, he replied. My master abandoned me 3 days ago because I was sick. We were on our way back from raiding the Kirithites in the Negev, the territory of Judah, and the land of Caleb, and we had just burned Ziklag. Will you lead me to this band of raiders? David asked. The young man replied, If you take an oath in God's name that you will not kill me or give me back to my master, then I will guide you to them. So he led David to them, and they found the Amalekites spread out across the fields, eating and drinking and dancing with joy because of the vast amount of plunder they had taken from the Philistines and the land of Judah. David and his men rushed in among them and slaughtered them throughout the night and the entire next day until evening. None of the Amalekites escaped except 400 young men who fled on camels. David got back everything the Amalekites had taken, and he rescued his 2 wives. Nothing was missing, small or great, son or daughter, nor anything else that had been taken. David brought everything back. He also recovered all the flocks and herds, and his men drove them ahead of the other livestock. This plunder belongs to David, they said. Then David returned to the brook Besor and met up with the 200 men who had been left behind because they were too exhausted to go with him. They went out to meet David and all his men, and David greeted them joyfully. But some evil troublemakers among David's men said, They didn't go with us, so they can't have any of the plunder we recovered. Give them their wives and children and tell them to be gone. But David said, No, my brothers, don't be selfish with what the Lord has given us. He has kept us safe and helped us defeat the band of raiders that attacked us. Who will listen when you talk like this? We share alike, those who go to battle and those who guard the equipment. From then on, David made this decree and regulation for Israel, and it is still followed today. When he arrived at Ziklag, David sent part of the plunder to the elders of Judah who were his friends. Here is a present for you, taken from the Lord's enemies, he said. The gifts were sent to the people of the following towns David had visited: Bethel, Ramoth Negev, Jathir, Auror, Siphamoth, Eshitomoa, Raquel, the towns of Jerahmeelites, Meelites, the towns of the Canaanites, Horma, Bor Ashan, Adach, Hebron, and the other places David and his men had visited. So pretty much all the places he found refuge during his time in the wilderness, so to speak. The death of Saul. Now the Philistines attacked Israel, and the men of Israel fled before them. Many were slaughtered on the slopes of Mount Gilboa. The Philistines closed in on Saul and his sons, and they killed 3 of his sons, Jonathan, not Jonathan. All right. They killed his 3 sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua. The fighting grew very fierce around Saul, and the Philistine archers caught up with him and wounded him severely. Saul groaned to his armor-bearer, Take your sword and kill me before these pagan Philistines come to run me through and taunt and torture me. But his armor-bearer was afraid and would not do it. So Saul took his own sword and fell on it. When his armor-bearer realized that Saul was dead, he fell to the ground. He fell on his own sword and died beside the king. So Saul, his 3 sons, his armor-bearer, and his troops all died together that same day. When the Israelites on the other side of the Israel Valley and beyond the Jordan saw that the Israelite army had fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned their towns and fled. So the Philistines moved in and occupied their towns. The next day, when the Philistines went out to strip the dead, they found the bodies of Saul and his 3 sons on Mount Gilbo. So they cut off Saul's head and stripped off his armor. Then they proclaimed the good news of Saul's death in their pagan temple and to the people throughout the land of Philistia. They placed his armor in the temple of Ashtoreth, and they fastened his body to the wall of the city of Bethshan. But when the people of Jabesh Gilead heard what the Philistines had done to Saul, all their mighty warriors traveled through the night to Bethshan and took the bodies of Saul and his sons down from the wall. They brought them to Jabesh, where they burned the bodies. Then they took their bodies and buried them beneath the tamarisk tree at Jabesh, and they fasted for 7 days. This is a prayer. Now we're in Psalms, Psalm 86. So it's nice that, like, I just want to know how David's going to be repositioned, right? Because it's nice that he didn't have to fight with the Philistine army. That would have been bad in just terms of, like, David had sided with the enemy. But I don't know how he's going to be able to leave this area, the lands that were provided for him, return to Israel and become king. Like, that's going to be some godly repositioning right there. Like, what's going to call him home safely? A prayer of David. Bend down, O Lord, and hear my prayer. Answer me, for I need your help. Protect me, for I am devoted to you. Save me, for I serve you and trust you. You are my God. Be merciful to me, O Lord, for I am calling on you constantly. Give me happiness, O Lord, for I give myself to you. O Lord, you are so good, so ready to forgive, so full of unfailing love for all who ask for your help. Listen closely to my prayer, O Lord. Hear my urgent cry. I will call to you whenever I am in trouble, and you will answer me. No pagan god is like you, O Lord. None can do what you do. All nations you've made will come and bow before you, Lord. They will praise your holy name. For you are great and perform wonderful deeds. You alone are God. Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may live according to your truth. Grant me purity of heart, so that I may honor you. With all my heart I will praise you, O Lord my God. I will give glory to your name forever, for your love for me is very great. You have rescued me from the depths of death. O God, insolent people rise up against me. A violent gang is trying to kill me. You mean nothing to them, but you, O Lord, are a God of compassion and mercy, slow to get angry and filled with unfailing love and faithfulness. Look down and have mercy on me. Give your strength to your servant. Save me, the son of your servant. Send me a sign of your favor. Then those who hate me will be put to shame. For you, O Lord, help and comfort me. Like I said, we know David be going through it. Like, David, from the get-go in these Psalms, David has been going through it. But this is a call for compassion and mercy. And this is a call for attention, for God's attention. Like, I know you are forgiving. Your love is unfailing. I know you can hear me. I know you'll protect me, for I am devoted to you. Like, it's a call for attention and reassurance. And he's doing it in such an honoring way. He's outlining exactly what the characteristics of God is, and then he's going like, because you are those things, I know no one else is like you. No one else can do what you do. Oh man. Okay. That is all, folks. Father God, I come to you in peace. I come to you humbled by the way you've moved in my life. I come to you thankful for all the things you have brought me to, the distance in which I've traveled to become who I am today. I know that you continue to fight for me, and in that I feel your love. I know that you continue to work within me, and in that I feel your love. I just wish to become the person who can return that love to you, whose obedience and reassuredness, whose faithfulness to your word, whose attention isn't lost to the world. In those actions, I hope to show you my love. I know Jesus saved me from many a great troubles, and I thank you for your sacrifice of him. I thank you for the Holy Spirit, the God that moves within me, who rids me of, who minimizes my pride and helps me forgive, who shines a light on my ego so that I can tame it, and who keeps me upright when I want to fall. It is in these three bodies of God that I can stand, that I remain sane, and that I can keep pushing forward. And for you, I am so thankful. Father God, work in everyone's lives the way you've worked in mine, because everyone who is here today, who's listening to this, who is with you, who is trying to understand your word, trying to learn more about you, reading through these scriptures, are trying to get closer and closer to who you are, so that we can cling to the hem of your garments. Thank you for your unfailing love and for your mercy. Thank you for your patience and your peace. Thank you for the shine, the brightness of your light, because it's dark in this world, and you keep trying to guide us. In the name of Jesus, I pray a prayer of gratitude and thankfulness. And as of now, I know I want for nothing you don't already know about. So I'm about to get what I want, okay? As long as it's in line with you. I know you're working, and I'm just going to give you the peace. The peace of, I know you're working. The peace of, I'm going to let you get it done. Thank you. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, y'all. Have a good one. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow for day 87. Like, we're really racking up these days. I'm loving it. Yeah, that's all. Bye-bye.